Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to another episode of the Eagle Radio International. I'm Sarah Nacman from the Washington, D.C. Bureau. The name of the segment that you are listening to tonight, this afternoon, or wherever you may be, if you're listening in this show through YouTube, is Trends and Fun Finds with Sarah Nacman. Just a reminder, you can also watch this episode broadcast through YouTube. You could search Radio Aguila, and if you do not speak Tagalog, you could just type in RADYOAGILA. That's Radio Aguila. And I hope you enjoyed this show tonight. So, the topic of our show tonight is do you look people in their eyes when you're speaking with them? In other words, do you make an eye contact with them? Um, there's a lot of people that I've noticed when I'm talking to them, they don't make eye contact. And personally, I prefer that people look at me when I'm talking to them, and I like to talk to people when I'm speaking with them. It just gives you that connection. It makes you feel that you're connected. And can you imagine if this is just a funny story? If somebody tells you, "Oh, you look beautiful," and they're not looking at you, so do they really mean that you look beautiful, or do they mean that somebody else looks beautiful? Having an eye contact to me is important, especially if you are speaking with someone about a serious business or serious matter. You feel like they're taking you more seriously. Uh, but if they're not looking at you, if their eyes eyes are wandering around, how does that make you feel? I think that could be a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. You know, you are trying to look them in the eyes, and they're not looking at you. So let me give you a story. One time, I was in a restaurant, and a waiter comes, and he's asking for my order. And the whole entire time, he did not look me in the eyes. And it made me uncomfortable because I don't know if I should move my face in front of his face and say, "Hey, I'm over here, look at me." But he was taking my order, and then after he looked down on his pad, then he looked sideways and he looked all around except to my direction. And that was very, very, very uncomfortable. And to me, it wasn't professional. I didn't feel like I got a great service. I felt like he does not understand what I'm trying to order. So I know it's just your waiter, but there are many, many more instances where eye contact is very important, and it's very serious. There's been a lot of studies that's been done about what it means to look somebody in the eyes and how important it is. But I'm just giving you my personal opinion at the moment. But I will talk about some studies that was done, and they tell you what is the importance of looking people in the eyes. And also your eyes are very important because through your eyes you can pick up many cues. You can tell, for example, you can tell if you pay attention, if you know someone's I guess habits. You can tell if that person is telling the truth or if that person is uh, fibbing, right? Uh, looking somebody in the eyes is very important. Let me tell you about some story. Um, People say that you fall in love for the first time by just looking at somebody in their eyes. Love at first sight. Can you imagine how could somebody say that they fell in love with you without even looking at you? Or maybe they just fell in love with your writing, maybe they fell in love with something else. But uh, eyesight, looking at someone is really important. That's a part of our body language. If you want to show someone that you're very interested at what they're saying, you look them in the eyes. Otherwise, you look around everywhere. That's a cue to say, please stop talking because I don't want to talk to you anymore, right? I think that's an important cue to tell someone I'm not interested because I'm not even looking in your direction. But if someone is talking and you are looking at him the whole entire or her entire time, they're thinking, oh, she's hanging on to every words I'm saying. So she's very interested in what I have to say. And to me, that's an example of how important it is to look at someone in the eyes. There are some people out there that they they don't look away. They don't look left, they don't look right, they don't look up, they don't look down. However, I've seen some people when they speak, they actually just close their eyes. They just close their eyes for a very long periods of time. And I'm thinking, either that person is really sleepy. I'm not trying to make fun of the person, but I'm trying to figure out, is this a habit that we develop over time by choice, or is this something more? I read somewhere that, do you know, looking into people's eyes, I've read somewhere that it's actually a skill that we learn over time. And looking into someone's eyes, it's actually something that you have to practice. It's not something that you're born with. So that's interesting. I know I tell my kids, I'm talking to you, please look me in the eyes. So maybe if the people that don't do that, don't practice that, maybe their parents really didn't stress the importance of looking people in the eyes. That could be a possibility. That is the neuroscience behind it, if you will, that if you don't train yourself to look somebody in the eyes when you're speaking with them, then your brain, it's just like your muscles in your body. If you don't train it, then it's not going to function properly, correct? You know, if you don't exercise, you don't attain the muscle tone that you want. So this is looking in somebody in the eyes is just one of those things that you have to practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice, practice, practice. um so what message are you sending when you're speaking with somebody and you're not looking them in the eyes? What do the experts say about that, right? There is 10 reasons eye contact is everything in public speaking. This is written by Sims Wyeth, and he is a famous public speaker. And he outlines in his article in Inc.com that there are 10 reasons why you should look at people's eyes when you're presenting. When I To me, I take this presenting in every possible way. When you're being interviewed for a job, you're presenting yourself. When you meet somebody new for the very first time, you're presenting your personality. When you are, you met somebody and you want to be a business partner, then you are presenting yourself. We present ourselves, in my opinion, we present ourselves all the time, not just in business situations, but also in personal situation, in social situations. So as human beings, I think we present ourselves every day to different situations, and there's various type of presentations. When we play sports, we present our skills, correct? So according to Sims Wyeth, the president of Sims Wyeth and Company, he's a public speaker, a well-known public speaker. In his article in inc.com, he said, here are 10 reasons why presenters should look people in the eye, in their eyes. Okay, so first, the number one is, if you focus your eyes, it helps you to concentrate. So if you want to keep on task about certain subject, then focus yourself to a certain person. And you shouldn't have that wandering eyes, because according to him, if your eyes starts to wander, then all these images starts to get inside your brain, and you slow your focus and your concentration, you slow it down. So it's very important to focus so that you can concentrate on the task that you're doing and the message that you're sending. Number 2, he said that when you fail to make eye contact with your listener, you do not look as important. You are not as authoritative. And most of all, you do not look confident. Confidence to me is everything. You wouldn't buy a car from a salesman who is very confident about their product. If you ask him, is this a great car? Yes. He looks you in the eye. Yes, this is a wonderful car, top of the line. Safety is 5 stars, safety ratings all around, bumper to bumper, sides, and also the roof. But if you see a salesman and you ask him and about the product, you say, "Is this a good car?" And he starts kicking something on the floor, not looking you in the eyes, and he said, yes, it's a wonderful car." Which one would you buy from? The confident salesperson or the one who's not looking at you kicking things on the floor? So I think right there, that's a great example on being confident actually is very important to your career. It also says, number 3, he said, if you don't look people in the eye, they don't look at you back. So if you want people to notice you while you're talking to them, look them in the eyes because they will pay attention to you. Um, so they will take notice of you. You were talking to that one individual, that person, you're making it a personal approach, one-on-one, instead of, for example, if you're in a whole room full of people, if you look someone in the eye, you're giving that personal touch that I'm looking at you, I'm here for you. Let's see. Also, if you look a person in the eye, you communicate confidence and you believe in your point of view. So if you're selling ice to Eskimos, right? You can probably sell it if you do it with confidence. If you believe in yourself, you look them in the eye, they'll buy ice from you even though they're Eskimos. According to Wyeth, Mr. Wyeth, he said that one of the most powerful means of communicating confidence is through sustained, focused eyes. So you're not going to look at someone just for 1 second and look away. You want to hang on there just a little longer than 1 second, I would believe. So if you look at someone, give it maybe 3 beats or 4 beats maybe, just so that you could marinate, if you will, that look and tell that person, "Hey, I'm looking at you. I'm focused at you because you're important to me." Um, and he said that sustained, focused eyes makes you feel more confident, and I think that's very true. And make you have an assertive feeling to act more assertive. Um, According to him, it takes practice. Like I said, they said that, looking someone in the eyes takes practice. So remember, starting from now on, you walk out there and practice looking people in the eyes. But I wouldn't suggest staring very long because then that would send out a different message than being confident. I wouldn't stare at someone for a minute. Then that would not be that would send a very different message, a message that probably you don't want to know the answer of the other person. So they said if you look at somebody's eyes, then you actually form a positive connection with that person. And your monologue takes the form of dialogue. Isn't that interesting? So if you're talking and someone is just listening, not talking, as long as you have that eye contact, you will develop a dialogue. You will have that connection. All right. Um, it also says that you have to respond to your listeners. You have to respond to your listeners as well when you are looking them in the eyes. For example, if you You have to listen to their signal. If you see in their eyes that they don't believe you, that's a cue. So you have to listen to the cue as well. Um, so that is the list by Sims Wyeth. And finally, here's the most important thing that I will tell you before I go on break. It says, finally, when you look someone in the eye for 3 to 5 seconds, you will naturally slow down your speech. And they said people who speaks fast, people tend to not to listen to them, but people who tend to take their time and speak slower, they sound more authoritative. And so if you sound more authoritative, people will believe you. All right. So thank you so much. That's for the first portion of our show. And I will be back for the second part.